Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again from Fanatic headquarters. So last night I had an amazing experience in the cinema. I had some friends text me kind of late in the day about going to see a movie, and the movie was the Shawshank Redemption, which came out in 1994, directed by Frank Darabont, and it stars Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman. Story. It was a film adapted from the Stephen King novel, and at first, I was a little bit reluctant to go because my past dealings or experiences going. The film was at Flagship, and I've gone to Flagship. I go there most of the time to see new films, but in the past, I've gone there to see like older films. Like I saw The Shining there, which is my favorite Kubrick film. Dances with Wolves, I saw that there. And basically, it was super disappointing because basically all it was were they basically just projected, you know, just kind of generic DVD versions of the film. So the quality was not very good. The sound was not very great. Was not good. The pixelation was off. The transfer was not great at all. So my friends had texted me this, and it was only $4 to go see this movie. And it's a classic film. I had not seen Shawshank Redemption in fucking forever. So I was curious to see it. And I know it's an amazing film. And but I was worried, to be honest, because I'm a film nerd, and I don't know, I care about the experience of going to a movie because it's important. And it's granted it's $4, but still, you want to have that experience, like an immersive experience. So I was a little bit on the fence. And that being said, I have seen some incredible masterpiece films in the theater. I got to see Apocalypse Now, Redux, the extended version, which was actual film. I saw that at the Colonial Theater, which was amazing in every possible way. I saw Halloween, the original from John Carpenter. I saw that quite a few years ago at the Strand, and that was just incredible. And that was film, I believe. Also, it was like an extended cut. I got to see also Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, and that was film, and that was you know just incredible. And then about a month or two ago, I went and I got a chance to see with a friend 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that was a newly restored version that was curated by director Christopher Nolan. That was mind melting. So I have had experiences. I've seen some classics where it's like they either use like the actual film, the negative, the you're actually seeing the actual film stock, um, or it's like maybe a really high end 4K version, what have you. But I've had a lot of experiences of where it's just essentially a burnt DVD or just a real generic, not even a really good Blu-ray version. It's just kind of a generic version of the film, and it's not so great. So, and my experiences with Flagship have been that way. So I was a little bit reluctant, but I was like, "Fuck it." I just threw some caution to the wind, and I was like, "Well, I'll just go." And so I went. We met up for some drinks and some food at Applebee's, which is right in front of Flagship, which is really convenient. And then went to the theater, and there was a lot of people there. I was surprised because it was Wednesday night at like 7 o'clock for a film that's it's an old film by today's standards. It came out in '94, so I was curious what this was going to be like. So we got to the theater, and much to my surprise, the showing of Shawshank was in the biggest theater at Flagship, which is actually a huge theater. I think it holds maybe 100, 200 people. It's the biggest theater that they have. It's got stadium seating. It's really an awesome theater. And I hadn't actually been in that theater in a while. In that one, I thought they were going to show, because this was an older film and it was like a cheapy night. It was going to be in the small one of the small ones, which they have, which is like, it's okay. Those theaters are they're kind of decent, but they're not great. So I was surprised by that. And then the movie started, and it started. They started showing trailers for new films, which you don't usually see for older classics. So I was like, "Huh, this is cool." And then the film started, and I have to say, seeing this particular version of Shawshank was just incredible. Um, and I remember after we finished watching it, I turned to my friend and I'm like, "Yep, that's one. The Shawshank Redemption is one of the greatest films ever made." I mean, um, it's just masterful direction, acting, just an incredible script. The cinematography, which the cinematographer was Roger Deakins, who, legend in the world of film. Frank Darabont, just an amazing director. I mean, he's done The Road. He was also responsible for like the first, I think, couple of seasons of Walking Dead. He's a really talented guy. And the cast, Morgan Freeman, Tim Robbins, you know, and I was blown away by the music, and again, I had not seen The Shawshank Redemption in probably over 20 years. And it's one of the most heartfelt and one of the most powerful movies I think ever made. I mean, when you think of what makes a movie really good, when you have that box and you check off the little boxes that are next to that thing, you know, really great direction, a great cast, and then the cast has, just awesome chemistry, a really, really well done script. It's really tight, beautiful cinematography, beautiful music, incredible editing, the whole package. I really think, The Shawshank Redemption, which it's hard to believe it came out in '94, is a perfect movie. I really do. I think it's such a classic. It's essential. I think, whether you're a fan of film or like a student of film, I think that this is like one of those movies, that's important, and it's a must see. It's an important movie. It's important to the art of cinema. It's essential, and I look at it as being, right up there with films like, well, Apocalypse Now and The Godfather, Blade Runner. I mean, it's one of the most important movies ever made and one of the greatest movies ever made. And I had not seen this film in so long, and that would be the first point. And then the second point is the transfer of this film was just incredible. And I kept thinking, wow, is this like a 4K 4K version of the film, or is this the actual film? Real film stock. Because I was just enamored by it, the quality of it. I mean, just everything. I mean, it looked like the quality was so good that it felt like it came out in 2025. Like, it was unbelievable. It was seamless. And it's a longer movie. I mean, well, a lot of people complain about the length of movies, and this movie is close to 3 hours, but what an experience. I mean, it's a prison movie, of course. It's, based on the Stephen King novel. It's and it's again, it's such a different thing for, that Stephen King did, because he's known for the horror genre, of course. But it's a masterpiece. I mean, it's all about, humanity. It's about, redemption, uh, conquering adversity. I mean, there's so many layers of human aspects to this movie. It's so powerful. It's it's heartfelt. It's got a lot of passion to it, and and I think it really gives you a sense of like that. Well, things can get better. It's that kind of an experience. We kind of live in a world of shit right now. So it was really good to see something like that. Is so um, just gives you a sense of of optimism when it comes to what humanity can do when they're not being mean and vicious to each other, which is what is going on now. So yeah, just incredible. And after we got done, going to the movie, we walked out to the lobby, and I was just like, I was just so curious, and I wanted to ask somebody at the front desk or somebody who worked there about what this like what this transfer was. Was it 4K? Was it a really high end Blu-ray? Was it film? Because I was blown away. It was literally like seeing it for the first time. And we walked out into the lobby, and I saw this woman who works there, and I think she's the manager of Flagship Cinema. And I went up to her, and I was just like, "Hey, that was just amazing." And that the transfer, the sound, the pixelation, just everything, it was like amazing. And I was like, "Was that?" And I remember asking her, "Was that like a 4K version or a high end Blu-ray, or was it film?" And she's like, and it was interesting because she said that the versions that they get for when they show these films now, it was basically they got a from the studio itself that put out Shawshank Redemption. They get a digital downloaded version to show, and she made it sound like it's a version that really only the theaters, when they're doing these kinds of showings, get have access to, or they get. And it was a digital, fully restored kind of version of the film directly from the studio, which I thought was really interesting. And I was curious too, like, oh, when she said that, I was like, huh, I wonder if that is like, available to the public. Um, but it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. It was one of the best versions, or one of the best experiences of going to the theater to see a classic film. I mean, because it was really, you're talking a movie that is like from '94, and this movie literally felt like it was released in 2025. I mean, just the quality, the sheer quality of it. It's a masterpiece, and I've been looking it up a little bit. I guess there's a big been a re-release or in select theaters of this film for an anniversary, for anniversary purposes. But man, it was just awesome. It was totally awesome. And I saw that, and it was funny because when I was looking into the movie, again, I was really reluctant because of my past experiences thinking that this was going to be, it was going to be shown in one of the tiny little theaters that is, not really great. I'm not, the sound isn't really great. The theater isn't, uh, you know, that great. It's okay. It's decent, but there are lower grade theaters, the smaller ones. So I was thinking it was going to be Shawshank was going to be shown in that, and then I thought it's going to be probably just like a DVD version of it, like not even a good high end DVD version, but like a generic version, and that's what they're going to project. So I was blown away. Like it was in the best theater in at Flagship in Thomaston, and it was like this gorgeous transfer. So yeah, and I saw, and it was funny because I looked it up after my friends had asked me about this, and I didn't see anything on the website about it. And then I did find some stuff, but it didn't really say about the specifics as far as what kind of version of this film they were going to be showing. But when we were there, I learned that this is part of like a regular series that they're doing at Flagship, and the one of the films they're going to be showing in the future is the Goonies, and I was just like, if it's gonna be like this, fuck yeah, I'll go see anything. Yeah, Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest American films ever made. You know, it's an essential film for if you're well, even if you're a casual fan of films. I think it's truly a classic in every sense of the word, and it's if you're I think there's like three levels when it comes to films in regards to how people, uh, in regards to a person's relationship to films. You have like your casual film fans that like films and watch them here and there, and then you have people who are movie fans that are, you know, really into movies, collecting movies. People like myself, and then people that are, more to where they want to learn about the craft, or they're just really immersed in it, and it's just a deeper level of inspiration. And I'm in both of those boxes. And I feel like this movie is such an important movie that it's essential. It's essential for, if you're a film fan and of cinema, and where you're looking, and I think what ends up happening, if you're a real deep fan of film, you know, you I think you kind of have to, but you start developing the context, in regards to film and like the historical context. And I think that this movie is one of those movies. Like it's a must see. It's something that should be celebrated and revisited multiple times because I think it's truly a masterpiece, and it's incredible. So I'm looking forward to seeing more. I'll see whatever movies they have if they are showing these kinds of high end versions of the film. Like, I mean, the Goonies will be amazing to see, especially if it's this kind of version, because it was just like it was insane. So yeah, Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest movies ever made. Period. So yeah, thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.